Um, God, I was gonna make a point. No, I remember. I really like the whole stylistic look of Human Revolution generally. It looks
Mm.
really cool and everything and logical. But then there's the odd kind of lapse where it feels like they didn't think it through very well. Like, why do the robots and the huge hulking robots, why do they walk around like that one Colossus from Shadow of the Colossus, you know? That
Yeah,
seems like the least practical way you could possibly make something move around. Wheels!
wheels every
This thing
time.
is not trying to like climb a mountain. You're making it go up and down a flat surface. What possible reason is there not to use wheels or treads? I presume they probably don't have like hover technology, but you know,
No, I don't think they do.
they
But
have the amazing helicopter things, but not.
yeah, and the other thing was glass, glass everywhere towards the end.
Oh, right.
When you get to the top of that building, it's like we're just gonna put glass floors and glass doors and glass windows and go ahead.
I get too excited sometimes when I have a point. It's just you've reminded me of something. You can get that augmentation in Revolution where you can see the sound that you're making and how far it travels.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And I loved the sound meter they added to Chaos Theory. It perfectly complemented the light meter for one thing, but it was also just I've almost never seen a stealth game that's even tried that of any
Yeah.
sort, where you can measure how much sound you're making. Because oftentimes it's so ambiguous, you have no idea how much sound that your movements are making
Mm.
relative to how the guards can hear you. But then Splinter Cell 3 completely fixed that, whether you have this tool, and it doesn't feel cheap, it feels logical, it feels like something you would have.
Yeah.
And it
It's
still makes
like
more sense than him having three lights attached to his head and no one noticing, so
there is
right.
oh, you just reminded me of Metro. Stealth in Metro is really good.
Ooh,
Stealth in Metro is really good. Yeah, and of course smacking the visors.
callbacks.
Um Stealth in Metro is really good, but in the first game it's like what we're gonna do is we're gonna put glass everywhere in random places like real life so that if you tread on it you instantly alert every single guard in the area to your immediate presence. They fixed it in the second game, but the first was just like, okay, we're gonna put some glass here, 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 and then not really show it off very well because it's so dark.
Yes, I'm just desperately trying to see things I haven't mentioned. I'm impressed how many of these things I have mentioned, but I did like the upgrade system in Human Revolution quite a lot.
Yeah, I'd
It
agree with
reminds me
that.
a little bit of the whole Skyrim system, only perhaps, whatever. But I swear there were too many points you could get. Maybe I didn't even do all the side quests. I kind of didn't do the ones that sounded boring or if I couldn't be asked. And I still had so many points I almost didn't know what to do with them near the end. I was just kind of, I guess I'll have that. That could be useful. I didn't really know what to do with it. It was just, there's
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
It was always that Morrowind problem where they gave you so many skills. You'd only really want five or six, and the rest are like, I might use restoration. I might
mm.
use alteration. I need something there. Um,
The only thing that was a bit, some things counteracted others. Like you mentioned the soundometer thing. Um, if you just put points into Silent Run,
oh yeah.
which I believe cost less than the sound upgrade, um, you wouldn't need it. Silent walking and running. But then again, it does take up battery, actually, thinking about it. So some
Cool.
things I never used, like I got them and then was just like, no, there's literally zero point in using this. Like the Typhoon obviously got rinsed out in boss battles.
Uh, I love the idea of you just going, just firing things. I don't like. I made like a horse noise there. I'm not sure why. Just like and firing these things off. I'm now reminded of that hilarious Human Revolution video where he's like, "Oh, what a cute kitty!" He's like, "Activate death mode." No, and then there's this incredibly sad-looking child standing there with a leash. Ah, don't know where that came from. Um, I have to say, I feel we're running out of momentum on these things. So can I like, unless you've got something,
No, go, go, go,
go go.
go, go.
I mentioned I had a big point to mention about the first Deus Ex. Okay,
Go ahead.
and here it is, controversial, controversial.
I'll brace myself.
I know. I like the intro cutscene to Deus Ex, right?
Yeah.
It actually has some of the better acting in the game, for one thing. It's a very foreboding, it sets up the atmosphere and the cyberpunkiness, and it's good. The problem is, it seems weirdly out of place in a game where all the rest of the story you discover organically, you know? You know what I mean? Like, even, I love they even put story in the tutorial. You get a sense of character and foreshadowing in the tutorial that you may not even notice until you play it again.
Yeah.
That was very awesome
I
of them. But
I I'll agree, but
oh,
I also feel that the intro cutscene was kind of a staple of its time
maybe
as well. Like, I feel that most games had that.
not
And
Half-Life.
Half
Half-Life didn't.
Half-Life didn't. You're
Boom!
right,
Got you with Half-Life.
but most games of the time had some kind of like intro that was kind of an overview of what's coming,
I,
and at the same time, it's a bit like here's a here's a handy starting point so you kind of understand the universe a little bit.
I'm just
But
laughing. I'm just laughing at myself because I've managed to bring this conversation screaming back to
go
RoboCop
ahead.
like a boss. In RoboCop, that movie starts out with the I think you get like the da-na-na of the RoboCop logo, and then you get the it might actually be after whatever. You get the first real thing you see other than the logo is a news broadcast telling you some things that have happened in the world of RoboCop
Yeah,
that don't even necessarily directly relate to the plot, some of it.
yeah,
And it sets the tone so well. And it also establishes the recurring thing throughout the movie where they show you weird adverts and broadcasts throughout the entire thing, and they're often hilarious. I still say the funniest part in the entirety of the RoboCop series, Tangent, is in the second one where they're doing the kind of failed attempts at a new RoboCop, and the guy
yes.
just shoots himself. That was like the most horrible, sick, hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life, and the music and everything is like da 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 da. Spoilers.
Spoilers, obviously.
RoboCop 2, man. What was I talking about? But that was relevant. That whole thing was relevant. But I was reminded of because of RoboCop. This is how I would have done it, and they actually they tried to do this in Human Revolution with the news broadcasts. I would have just had something like that, where you have a broadcast saying something. You could say controversial news, Sarif, whatever,
Hmm.
blah blah. This has been Eliza Cassan with the weirdly annoying voice. Was her voice meant to be annoying, by the way?
You know, one thing. Talking of
Oh,
Eliza,
oh,
why did they need to make it such a massive plot point that she was an AI? It has no
yeah,
relevance at all.
that was like the most kind of she's an AI now.
It's like, okay, cool. But we haven't interacted with her at all. All we've done is literally heard her tell the news.
There's nothing about her character that she couldn't have done as just a person.
Exactly.
Maybe an augmented person. You could just say, I have this thing that lets me hack into things and get news.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very dodgy, grey market. But it was just like, I'm an AI. Don't know why, but I am. And the only theory I've come up with is that it was supposed to be some sort of precursor to the events of the original game. Because it's all a prequel in business. It's like some Star Wars business going on.
Yeah,
You know? And it was like supposed to be because she does seem a bit derpier than the AIs in the later
yeah.
time
I do
span.
love how they downgraded the voice chips and look of AIs.
Oh, I think you by mentioning voice chips or something, you have just reminded me of the massive plot thing I was trying to remember earlier and forgot about. Who was playing the game would actually have got gone, the bit says, "Oh no, my thing is acting up
Oh
just
yeah,
after we've discovered this corporation is evil. I better go get it fixed." Who would actually do that? Who would be so stupid as to do that? It was the most obvious trap in the
the
world.
second playthrough I tried it just to see what what happens.
It's exactly like in Skyrim, where no one in their right mind would pick the Imperial guy to go with, because even if, I mean, he felt sorry for what he was doing to you, but he still did it.
Mm,
Even if you play the, well, he didn't want to do it argument, he
yeah,
still did it.
yeah,
How do you know you'd go with him, go to town, and then he'd immediately hand you over again?
yeah. I
But
agree.
tangent, tangent, tangent.
But yeah, the voice chips because obviously like Daedalus and Helios and
Helios, don't
Icarus,
leave
they're
me.
all like blah, 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 blah. We have access to your systems, and they all sound like fucking computers from the 2000s, obviously. But then Eliza's like
This be
perfectly
Ezekazan.
exactly, and there's actually a point in Detroit where that guy goes, "Eliza's so hot,"
Yes.
and then it's like, Helios is hotter, man. I mean, look at his metal chassis,
Yes.
and of course, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. There's
Just
nothing
kind of
to
put,
say.
you kind of dwindle at the end
I,
there.
I, I doing what I was like, what else? How else can I describe
You
an
reminded
AI
me of.
as sexy other than Eliza? Because
I'm
that's
probably gonna have to do a separate spoiler thing, even if you know Deus Ex here. But you reminded me of System Shock.
yeah,
Okay,
System
yes,
Shock.
where it's like this is definitely massive spoiler now. Although I have to say it's one of the most best known and overrated plot twists in gaming.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd agree.
but the whole thing where it's like you'd better do this because I'm a lady who's trying to help you. Actually, I'm a robot, and now I talk like this for no reason, even though I had no trouble talking earlier. What is the explanation? Why did she talk like that? Is it just some scary effect she likes to do to people?
Shodan. That's the explanation. Hackers,
She's crazy. That's the
hacksaws.
explanation. That bitch be crazy is the explanation.
I didn't play the first System Shock.
Neither did I, because it was made in like 90. It came a year after Doom or something.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, that is some advanced crap compared to Doom. That
It
is
is.
scary. And no one bought it. Uh,
The second one is brilliant though. But anyway, we're tangenting again
it's
as
the
always.
System Shock. We can de-spoiler now.
Yeah.
Republic Commando lasers can go down, but but that System Shock, Warren Spector, related.
Yes.
Boom, related.
Yes.
Topical.
Related. Well done for
Topical.
finding something. Um,
Good
what
recovery.
is okay? So what the hub cities in Human Revolution? Okay, so we got Detroit as a hub city
Duh.
and a bit of Hong Kong. I guess you could call it a hub city, but it is mods to the mission.
It's not Hong Kong, but yes.
That's not Hong Kong, not non Kong, as I'll refer to it from
Oh,
now
the
on.
other one. All Chinese cities look the same.
So you've got Detroit and non Kong, and what did you think of the hub cities? Because I thought that personally, I liked some of the side quests you could get out of them. I liked the level of exploration you could do, but they felt they was lacking something.
They did feel less open than the original game in some respect. They were less hideous. They were much nicer to look at.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
Non-Kong was beautiful also. Just I love like that you go into this place and there's like this weird block of flats where people live in pods.
Mm,
And I was like, this is if this isn't actually happening, I'd be surprised because this is what they're gonna do at some point. You
yeah.
just give people like the absolute bare minimum they can do to survive. Um, you're just got atrophy in there, surely. You've got no running room, no
There are
roaming.
actually hotels like that though,
I wouldn't be surprised at all, no.
but
Um,
I'm not sure about full on like living quarters. But I've seen hotels like it. One thing that immediately sprung to mind when I just thought of Detroit was the fact that even though he is an augmented super security guard, he still cannot throw a basketball through a hoop, whereas
yeah,
JC Denton can. That shows how advanced.
Adam Jensen can't jump, man. You know.
It shows how advanced the nanotechnology has come along, though, doesn't it?
Ah,
Denton can throw a basketball through a hoop.
you have reminded me again. I mean, we mentioned the whole candy bar equals punching power, but then you've got the whole. I was laughing so hard when I first played the game, and you can run for about half a nanosecond before getting tired. I was like, it's like I understand from a mechanical standpoint, but even when you upgrade it, it's only like 5 seconds. I can sprint faster than that, and I'm a fat bastard, so this is ridiculous. You know, this beard, this laziness beard, that's an attempt to hide the massive 5 chins I have. Is the explanation.
Fair enough.
Just if I just suddenly have a heart attack, just that's normal, don't worry. But where is this going? Um, there's also a little love heart I've drawn on my notes here next to something I've just noticed. It's hilarious to like do some notes and then come back a week later and go, what? What?
What was the love heart next to?
Gives you as much story as you want, and then a
Yeah,
love heart.
we've already
Well,
discussed that. Okay,
yeah.
but well, actually,
Oh,
saying this, there was no draw for me in Human Revolution to go looking for news articles and reading stuff. I
yeah.
found it wasn't like I saw them and I might skim through them, but there was no point where I was like, I'm gonna go and look for all of this stuff. I'm gonna go out of my way to look for it. Whereas in the original, I was a bit like, yes, a thing I can see. I'm gonna stack boxes and
I
try
got
and
that.
find
I
a
got that
way.
feeling in System Shock 2 a lot as well. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some backstory," which actually turns out to not be as exciting as I thought. But, um,
Yeah,
oh well. Oh
yeah.
god damn! What was it? Oh yeah, I remember. I remember. I really hated stuff like I turned all of it off. The stuff like items you can pick up now glow, and
Oh,
crap you can't doesn't. And I turned that off. But then the problem is, I suspect they designed the game with that in mind because it's actually very hard to see items without it a lot of the time.
ammo specifically.
Yeah, I'm like, especially before you learn what items you can generally pick up. Like, I have no idea still by what arbitrary reasoning which boxes you can pick up and can't. It just seems completely random. I swear this
Um,
one looks exactly like that one, but I can throw that, but I can't throw that.
hmm,
And but in the original game, one of the advantages of it looking so hideous was that you could see items a lot easier
yeah,
without some magical glowing thing.
that's true. But
I
mostly
feel
because they
that
was
like
always
it's
like black in color.
a lot of Human Revolution's environments are just really cluttered looking, which looks good, but it kind of clashes with the mechanical aspect of it, where you actually want to be
Hmm.
able to find things without feeling like you're cheating by using your magical. I just know that this
Where
item is
did I
plot
get?
convenient.
Oh, I got lost on that level where you lose your radar and mission points and everything.
Radar on, radar off.
You
Continue.
know where you get
Obscure
oh
references.
god. You know you get like shut down and you have to find Megan because you know that
Oh, you mean
she's
Megan in the inexplicable, like, white room from heaven,
yeah,
which is
but
never expl. What?
all of that
She's-
all of that section where you're just going around that base area and you have to find the other scientists is just so complicated. I'm not sure if it's because obviously you done it without the augmentations being deactivated by by the corporations, but the second time I played through, when I had deactivated it, which I guess some players would do.
If you didn't think about it even remotely for a
Well,
second,
yeah, but we're talking about a game that also got released on consoles, so
and they're all idiots. Well,
you know,
the ones that buy FIFA every year, I'll say that.
but like that was fucking impossible. It really
Uh,
was. I was just walking around aimlessly for several hours, and I was just like, I feel to give up. But then I read a guide.
I have to say, feel no pity for anyone who was stupid enough to get that upgrade. It was like the most signposted, obvious trap I've ever seen. It's like, boy, howdy, maybe it happens exactly after you find out someone is evil and everything.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know there's Illuminati going on. You know all this, and
Bob Page.
it also felt like a really hard hitting. I love the whole thing where like, are you really going to let these corporations literally cut you up and put things on you? That's
Yeah.
a whole cool theme to have for the transhumanism thing, but that whole sequence of events just seemed really ham-fisted. Like, look what they did to you because you were so stupid as to do this.
You know what else
Oh,
was really irritating? That
what?
boss battle with
Any of the boss battles.
Yeah, but mainly the guy who's got like muscly arms. I
Unless
can't
you
even
know,
remember his name. He's that memorable.
unless you know the bug. You mean the Naked Muscle Man, by the way. That's his official name.
Naked
Naked
Muscle Man.
Muscle Man.
Yeah, well, him. He
He's real mad at you because you found his room of other Naked Muscle Men.
I because at the time that I didn't have the augmentations and stuff, that battle was almost impossible. But what I did was I hacked a turret and brought it up in the lift with me, and just sat behind it.
What's
So
that bitch? Can't hear you over you dying.
exactly.
Can't hear you the sound of how awesome I am.
And it was
I,
literally just a case of then, like, when he started finally working out that he could shoot me from behind the turret, I just ran around the room and let the turret take care of him. Because it sees him even when he's gone all, like, invisible and shit.
that's funny and sounds like something they'd want to fix, but that's exactly the sort of thing you would do in the original game, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Just find some hilarious exploit which was never thought of, and just go, "Yep."
This works.
I remember when games were hard. Yes.
Mm.
Um, Holy crap, the boss battles are terrible. But do you know the bug where if you just time it right as he's jumping over, you can randomly take him down just
I
in
didn't
one
know
punch?
that. I didn't know that.
I didn't figure this out myself, but apparently it's well known where there's just one frame in his animation where he's jumping over a wall, where for some reason you can do the takedown on him, and it just ends the fight instantly. And then it's hilarious. It's pretty funny if you punch him in particular, because then the cutscene plays, and he's like, "Oh no, all these bullets," which I suddenly have in me. Oh God, we keep coming back to the boss battles, but there's what can you say about them? Just they on every level they fail is just the only way to adequately describe them.
Well, okay, let's just look at it like this. The
Oh,
first one, shoot barrels. Second one, get a taste of your own medicine by being kicked in the face repeatedly.
yeah, I did think that was pretty funny though. This is what I've been doing to people the whole game. I'm kind of
Exactly.
a bastard.
Third one is like just let's just have an invisible man, which is a staple in boss battles in games now.
Yeah.
I can't reason. It's kind of a thing that like many games still haven't gotten over. Like, why are we still living in an age where boss battles are accepted, are a thing?
I think you oh, I've had this. I've had this. There have been people who say there should just not be cutscenes in games, and there are people who say why no boss battles ever. And like Jim Sterling said, it's like you cannot just write off a potential tool with that broad brush, or however he probably said it more poetically,
Yeah.
and then ended it with "Thank God for me." But um, boss battles. Okay, let's look at amazing boss battles in gaming. I already mentioned Snake Eater,
Yeah.
and then I was waiting for that. And then there's God of War, which does not have a Tina Turner style song, sadly.
No. Oh.
God of War,
Whoa. Yeah.
which has like the first God of War has like three boss battles, and one of them is pretty cheap, but they are amazing.
Dark
Uh,
Souls.
I will say, this is relevant since we were saying how much we hated the opening to Human Revolution. The opening to God of War, not just the cutscene, but the whole like opening segment, may actually be one of my favorite openings to any game because
Yeah.
it's so good, and it sets up the tone and
I
the
was about to say it
story.
sets up everything so well.
And God of War deserves more credit because extra credits pointed out to me that God of War is really good at characterization through gameplay because
Mm.
you completely believe that the guy who's like tearing wings off griffins and stuffing them back in their mouths, you totally believe he's had a few issues in his
Mm.
life. And he ends up being a weirdly sympathetic character despite the horrible things he's regularly doing to people. And then they had God of War 2, where they're just like, retcon, now he's just angry all the
Oh
time.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not discuss that.
But God of War.
I'm not
I
sure if you
don't
can
have my
hear.
Kratos with me. He's in the other room. I have a Kratos. I'll get him. No.
I'm not sure if you can hear my phone vibrating occasionally, but I'm
It
sorry.
just sounds like dubstep to me.
Oh. No.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
one thing that I immediately noticed again whilst playing Human Revolution
Yes.
was like I feel that in the original,
Well,
even in vanilla, you could stack things and climb.
yeah.
But in Human Revolution, it's a bit like no, you don't
They're
don't
going for
don't
a
try
like
and climb up here.
they're going for a realistic thing about a man with swords in his arms. So you can only pick up things that logically you could possibly be able to stand on. Whereas the original, you
Yeah,
could like start. You could. I've forgotten the word. Stack. You could stack
stack.
up. There was a Tim Schafer game about it. You could stack up. Was it Tim Schafer? It's someone. You can stack up bottles and step on them, and it's wonderful,
Like in
you know.
Oblivion, where you could stack paintbrushes and
And then
climb
they
to the top.
patched it, and I was angry about that because that was awesome. Because who needs levitation? Oh,
Throw paintbrushes everywhere.
I'm using the power of the enchanted paintbrushes that Bob Ross gave me. Callbacks.
Which reminds me, Bob Page.
Yeah, I like how he's in the game, but he isn't. They don't really make a big deal about it. He's just kind of
Yeah,
Bob Page.
that was good.
And did they actually get the original guy and everything?
I think so.
Oh,
Might
I
have
still
been.
think what's his name? Is it Walton Simon?
Walton
What's his name?
Simmons.
Simon, whatever. I still think he is the best voice in. I mean, okay, apart from like JC Denton's voice, which is just endlessly hilarious. I think he's the best non-Denton in the original game.
Non-Denton.
Is Walton Simon's voice? Which was another problem with the intro. Was I mean, okay, he's obviously a villain when you meet him. He's just
Yeah,
he looks like that. He's got freaking evil dark Jedi veins on his
yeah.
face and everything.
And he also
But
sounds like an evil guy. Like,
you know, even so, Bob Page, you might not have guessed, was a bastard. Definitely into the spoilers now, but it's pretty much
yeah.
just flat out told you in the intro that they're bad guys. And then you even slyly see someone else walk past who turns out to be a baddie later, but um I don't know. What are we talking about? It's very hot here. I can't focus. That's my excuse. And you appear to be at the gates of heaven, judging by your lighting, so it must be distracting all the naked beauties frolicking around.
Yeah,
Avert your
obviously.
eyes. Pretty sure you were married or something.
I'm not
On the
married.
chain. I
Girlfriend?
thought we established you were married to an OAP.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Could we talk about the Human Revolution endings?
Do we have to?
Do
Do
you
we
think
have
it's
to?
been done?
I want to, but I just feel that I'm going to get too angry or upset. Go on.
Oh,
What's your point? And I'll try and expand on it the best I can.
they just felt like if it just feels like they saw the original game's endings and went, ah, yes, that's good. This is why it's good, and they kind of ran with that. But they grabbed the wrong thing and ran off with it. You know?
One thing,
Uh,
I could. Oh, you can go through the whole game. You can make loads of different choices, and then it's like, press a button
oh,
for an
it's so
ending.
like, and Miss Eliza even derpily explains it to you. If you do this, this will happen because I'm psychic or some
Yeah,
shit. Are you sure you want to do this? I
press
mean, I know
button
you're
to
just
finish game.
I know you're just gonna reload and watch all the endings again anyway, but are you sure you want to do this? Oh, that's silly. But actually, something that personally annoyed me that people don't seem to mention as much is that Adam makes much more of it, depending on how like many people he just straight up murdered throughout the game. He
Hmm.
goes on this slightly different ramble about, "But I not always try to be moral?
Oh yeah,
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
permanent brain damage is not nearly as bad as actually killing them." You know,
Waking up in a
and
vent and having a claustrophobic heart attack.
they just seemed to miss what was half the beauty of the original game's endings was that they were
Hmm.
so ambiguous.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
said, "This is what happens, debate." They didn't say, "This is what
Enjoy
happens.
it.
This is what happens, and it's evil." Now try and debate, even though we just told you the answer. And it was like,
And the other thing about the first game's endings was it was like you could do the non-effort approach for a different ending.
I can't remember.
I remember like on some of them you had to like go downstairs in that whole section and like deactivate the servers or activate the uplink, and that meant going through different rooms with infinitely spawning enemies.
What's the point you're trying to make? I've lost you.
Well, to get the different endings, you actually had to put some work in. Whereas in Human Revolution, it was just literally like press a button to decide your ending.
Continue.
That was
That
it.
might be coming up on the microphone, actually.
It
Cats.
is coming up in the
Oh,
microphone.
sorry. Fine. I'll just melt. Okay, I
It's
suffer from
cool.
my art.
It's
What were
cool.
you saying?
That
Sorry.
was all I had to say. Was just like there's zero effort in the endings to Human Revolution, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I get what you
last
mean.
that last boss battle
Oh, I'll bug it up the screen or something. Never mind
with
that.
the brilliant
God,
scrolling turrets that just go around in a circle, and you
I was
just
so confused by the ending. I was like, so is Pangea actually about global warming, or is it another cover-up, or what? What
exactly,
is? What's this machine with the three people? What's happening?
exactly.
It it just felt like they got to a point in the plot and just kind of forgot there was meant to be some sort of logical cohesion to events. That just
Mm,
kind of now there's zombies and now there's like a big hole in the ground that doesn't seem to do anything. Now there's someone who's like integrating with these three people and
yeah.
I don't know. It really, for some reason, I got like a real flashback to like some sort of pagan sacrifice because it's like they were sacrificing these three maidens to this great god of machinery.
Mm.
I was like, this is going a bit literal with the title here, guys.
It was a bit
But
strange. It was just strange, and I think certain games manage to do where it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder towards the ending. I mean, Amnesia is weird at the start, but you know, as you get towards the end, it's just like, what the fuck is going
I
on?
I would love to do a. I want to find someone tangent in capital letters, but I
Go
would
on.
love to find someone who is passionately thinking Amnesia is better than Penumbra, so that we could have a 2 hour long argument about this, because I have some strong opinions there. But
And
I
yeah, exactly. You've just reminded me of Penumbra. Penumbra also does that, where it just gets progressively weirder the further you get into the game, and I kind of feel that. Well, I'm saying Penumbra. I mean like Black Plague,
I consider the Black Plague and the first one to be like this
the
one
same
game,
game.
really.
Because
And
yeah,
then there's the third one, which isn't a horror game at all, and I have no
Overture,
idea. Yeah, well, not Overture, Requiem. That's
Requiem.
it. It's
Yeah,
not a horror. It's like a puzzle game with some weird horror bits that aren't really scary, you know.
Requiem's the one that gets really strange towards the end.
But and that was another like retcon sequel, like
Oh,
God of
I
War
know,
2.
I know. And they're such good game makers as well. Frictional.
Oh, I want Amnesia 2 to be good. Oh, please be good.
It looks good. When's it
I,
out
s-
actually? Halloween,
I,
isn't it?
s- I s- could have sworn it was supposed to come out last Halloween at some point, but apparently they're
Same.
putting extra effort. I want. We're going on a tangent, but why can't they bring these games to consoles, really? I don't understand. There's nothing mechanically about them that couldn't be on a console, you know?
Hmm.
They might just have to tone down the lighting effects or something. But look at Splinter Cell on the original Xbox. It's still beautiful. All
Yeah.
the weird lighting and everything. PS2 version, not as much, but we were talking about Deus Ex, I think.
Yes, I think we were.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Go on.
How do you think since they've done were we done about whatever topic we were talking about, pagan sacrifices or something?
I'm sure we were.
I'm sure. So we know about they brought out just recently this Deus Ex iOS game, which is supposedly an actual serious installment and not just some kind of silly spin-off. Are you just face palming there? It's hard to
Yeah.
tell with my screen and your way of your
I
face. Can you face palm to the other direction, please? Thank you. Yeah, that's good. Um, but I don't know what was going on there. You know, it's just Human Revolution was such a promising revival of a franchise. They got so much right. I would really like to see them continue and try and fix
mm,
the problems.
yeah.
And in the future of Deus Ex as a franchise, I think they should scale it down. Scale it down. Because every single one of these bloody games has been about like saving the world from some horrible conspiracy, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
And I really think they could try tell it like something like I haven't played the Walking Dead
Saving a
game.
dog from a tree. with
Yes,
augmentations.
that went so well the last time. But I forgot what I was trying to say. But that's never happened. You know, these games where they're in real danger of having this the Hollywood syndrome happen, where it just
Mm,
gets bigger and bigger and more over the top. That's exactly what happened to God of War. It's exactly what happened to a million billion franchises. And I really don't want it to happen to Deus Ex. They were already hinging on that with Human Revolution. I was like, don't do it. Don't you fucking do it. And then I would love a oh, that's what I was talking about. Like the Walking Dead games. I haven't played them, but I really think I should.
I
Where
think I'd
they
like them.
surprisingly they take a really character-based approach to this thing. The zombies are kind of incidental in The Walking Dead. It could be a tsunami and the
Yeah.
plot be as relevant. But I would love that sort of thing where it's not a world-saving event you're trying to do. It's
Mm,
just maybe a city. Let's go for a city or a country,
yeah.
something
Let's go
where there's
for a neighborhood, a postcode. I want to
when
save
you
the.
said neighborhood, all I could think of was in West Philadelphia.
Born and raised in.
I
Yeah.
don't know why I cannot unassociate the word neighborhood with Fresh
Um.
Prince, but
Yeah. No, I agree. And the one thing about the iOS thing, you've had, you started off as a PC game. PC gamers love you. Then he was like, okay, we'll put it on consoles. Console gamers suddenly love you.
so supposedly the
And now it's
PS2
like,
port of the original was quite good.
I've heard
But
that, but it's very different apparently in terms of
continue.
graphics. But anywho, why would they then be like, okay, so now we're going to alienate half of our potential players by putting it on iOS, which is not a serious gaming platform, and in my
No,
opinion, never will be. Even on Android, I have a Galaxy
it's
S4
just
right here.
so functionally limited, isn't it?
Exactly. Even when Sony tried to do their Android with like the PSP pad built in, it was so broken that they had to recall all of them, and no games really support it either. So useless. Useless.
I know somebody who owns an N gauge, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
The N gauge
That's
was
the
the only
only N gauge
exception.
I've ever seen in my life. No one else owned one. Um, what were you? Oh, you said something, and I was like, reminds me, but then no.
Alienating half of the population of the world.
Oh yeah. I actually remembered when you said that. Well done. Do you remember when they first announced the XCOM FPS? Do you remember that? The betrayal has been forever immortalized as that. But uh, I have yet to figure out who that was meant to be aimed at because, like, XCOM, there was supposedly some console ports or something, but it's only ever really known on the PC, and it's a strategy franchise,
Ah,
and strategy games have never really worked on
what about
console.
the flight simulators?
I don't know anything about this. Let's not get into that.
The XCOM flight
I
ones.
already don't know about XCOM, so let's just not even
Oh,
go.
okay. Well, so
Yeah.
obviously I was aiming at Halo fans.
The point is that XCOM was known on PC almost entirely, right?
Mm,
And then it was known as a strategy game, which again is something that PC gamers would know
yeah.
mainly. And then they're like, let's take this PC strategy game and make it a console-focused first-person shooter. It's like the exact opposite. And so you've annoyed the people who might actually want a new XCOM game, and the people you're aiming it at have no idea what XCOM is, and already have oodles of other stupid first-person shooters, which
Yep.
aren't Deus Ex or Time Splitters
Like
or
Black Site.
Painkiller, you know? And it's like, who is this aimed at? No one will like it. And now they're trying to rebrand it ever since they brought out an actual XCOM sequel, and that turned out to be a lot more
Oh
interesting.
yeah. I know.
Again, a tangent, but it just reminds
Tangents.
me of the. It reminded me of the whole PC console, master race syndrome that you tend to get into whenever you talk about Deus Ex for long enough,
Obviously, that because
and
that
stuff
is
like
true.
bringing it way back in the conversation. I'll let you talk eventually. Bringing it way back in the conversation. You and with a face like that, I'm not going to let you talk. Um, when we were talking about the whole how the stealth in Human Revolution really isn't that good. it's I've played worse, but it's functional. I will
Mm,
say it's functional. You know, and I really think that was a consoleized decision to take out the leaning function and replace it with a much more awkward leaning thing with the cover system.
yeah,
And
I
that I
agree.
was just it was a relevant point with XCOM probably.
Yeah.
I think go.
Um, things. I'll be honest. I think we're pretty much done.
I just feel like I have a good topic to end it on
Go
before we
ahead.
go.
I
But
mean,
I just want to see if I've forgotten anything massive because I know I'll stop recording and go, damn it! And that happened last time. We didn't talk about the music in Skyrim and Oblivion and crap, which we could do now. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Um,
my brain is slightly melting out of my eye sockets.
it is very hot in here though. Did I really get your opinion what I said about I would love a Deus Ex game where you're not trying to save the world. I want there to be a much more human story in a smaller setting with a more
Yeah.
localized and consistent cast of characters. I think that would
Well,
be yeah.
yeah, no, I totally agree. It would be nice just to have. I don't want to say DLC,
Oh,
but a short game that was a bit
but that is
like.
only available with the GameStop exclusive DLC.
God, no. The pre-order stuff for Human Revolution.
That was pretty shameful.
Anyway, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Was
it would be much nicer, but I just imagine it being a smaller game because part of the thing about a full-length game is that you actually feel like you've progressed a lot, and I think it would be quite hard to have enough story to fit in a full game on a small scale, if that makes sense. Like,
oh
it's
oh
so.
there's a game in my head which is like, no, I'm on a small scale and I tell a really good story and I can't think what it is. And I'm gonna think of it as soon as we stop talking to each other. But I want to say Second Sight, but I don't think it's Second Sight I'm thinking of. No.
But do you
Oh.
get what I mean? Like obviously it can be done, but judging by the writing of Human Revolution, I'm not sure it can be
It's just
anymore.
someone else was saying to me, Deus Ex has always been about these world problems, and to try and scale it down would be too much of a change. But I disagree. I
Mm.
really think we would solve some of these plot holes and weird contrivances and things if we could just. You can keep it all about augmentations and crap, just make it a much more human story. Some of my favorite parts of Human Revolution were some of the conversations when we were talking to characters who may not have even had a particularly massive amount to do with the main plot.
Yeah,
And you got such a sensation of who these people were and what their point on the whole affair was.
yeah.
And oh God, I thought of a massive thing. I almost forgot. Here it was. Human Revolution does a pretty good job of gamifying non-combat situations. Case in point, dialogue. Now,
Yeah.
so many games struggle with this, and this is actually one advantage that Dungeons and Dragons has in that it gamifies things other than combat. Combat may be the more complicated system
Mm.
because it's a lot focused of things, but you can just have an adventure with hardly any combat if you really wanted to. Um, but video games are much more limited in this sense, and this is why I want to play Planescape Torment, which you can get on GOG, and is supposedly like the best dialogue system in a game ever.
I'll have to
You
look at
can,
that.
it's on GOG for like a tenner or something. And GOG is, by the way, probably the best place to get Deus Ex.
Yeah,
So
easily.
topical. And it was the best place to get 13 until they mysteriously stopped selling 13
I
because
was lucky
Ubisoft.
enough to get it.
I got it, but then I uninstalled it unwisely. So
Oh.
gone forever. Um, I love 13. Was it? No, it wasn't 13 I was thinking of because that is like a world
That is
conspiracy.
a world
Go play
conspiracy.
13. It's like the best shooter you've never played. Was 13, spelled like Final Fantasy 13 with
Yeah,
Roman crap. You know what I
Roman
mean?
numerals.
It's very hard to search 13, the game, because all you get is Final Fantasy, the unnecessary sequel to all the other unnecessary sequels. Why did we not just stop making these after six? Um,
Controversial. Anyway,
uh,
um, yeah, perhaps the smaller scale thing. It's just one of those things that, like, it will never happen.
Probably not.
So it's a shame because I can't. I'm worried for another sequel.
I
Well,
am.
I
Because in a
like
perfect world, I would be very optimistic, but I know how this industry works. And
exactly.
I almost said Ubisoft without thinking, but it's not Ubisoft, it's Eidos. Eidos, by the way, who did Legacy of Kain, published it, of course, not really
Mm,
developing. So Eidos, apparently, as a publisher, are way more open to story-based games than, say, some other companies we could mention. You
yeah,
know,
EA.
everything asinine, as they should be known. Um, can I just throw in another gameplay point? Regenerating health. Why? Why regenerating health, Human Revolution? Why did you do that?
Well, I think they could have had regenerating power and candy bars for health.
Candy bars.
Candy bars.
Regenerating candy bars. I
Cause
do,
that would
do
make more sense, wouldn't it? So, like,
it
surely you
would.
would put like some kind of
Home bake
traction.
oven augmentation.
Yeah, traction augmentation. So when you walk, your power recharges. As for health, it's just like, oh, you've just been shot in the face with a shotgun. It's okay.
What is your opinion on regenerating health? Given that it is often used as just a kind of lazy design choice, really.
That's all. Yeah, that is my opinion. It's just lazy design.
But
I mean, I don't mind. Some games do it well. Some games
I, I,
explain it, but
I could
others are
think of it.
just like,
Yeah,
let's just let you die. Have you played Remember Me at all?
no,
It's
I've
weird.
forgotten about it.
It's a weird game. Oh, ha 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 ha.
Continue.
It's a weird game, but the health system is really good. If you're in combat, there is no regenerating health. You will get your ass kicked if you don't use the health moves, which are where you can build your own combos. You can stick a punch that gives you health in that combo.
Do you like rip their arm off and nibble on it or something? What is this?
It would make more sense if you did, but
Is it like
somehow it works.
Maximo or something? I don't know why Maximo is what I thought. What am I thinking of where you can like punch people to get Castlevania? There we go.
Castlevania, yeah.
Go play Maximo. um.
But yeah, like
Oh,
that kind of flexibility to giving you health and making you kind of work for it and think about it is nice.
I can definitely think of at least two examples where regenerating health works. Okay.
Go on.
One, Terraria. Did
Agreed.
you ever play Terraria before they put in the new potion system where
I didn't.
it used to be like Oblivion where you could just spam potions and get infinite health no matter what difficult boss you're fighting?
I didn't know. I only played the latest
Yeah,
one.
I'm hardcore, so I played that version. But then they patched it to where it is now, where you can take a health potion and it recharges a whole bunch of health, but then you have to wait like a minute to use another one. And when you're not in combat for a long time, your health very slowly recharges on its own. And
That's cool.
it completely works with Terraria because the game makes more sense that way. I'm surprised it wasn't there in to begin with because it just feels like it was designed with that in mind.
Yeah.
And then there's Borderlands, which I think does regenerating health very well because you can like choose how it
Yeah.
works.
I mean, my regen. I don't. I've just started playing Borderlands 2 with Ryan. We'll do a video on that soon. We've recorded a video on Borderlands 2, so on my channel.
Ugh.
It's plugging, yes, obviously. Um, yeah, I mean, you're not blessed with recharging health from the start. Like, you have to find a shield or some other kind of um, add-on to your lovely character that's got
Yeah.
a regenerating health
And it's
thing.
just
And I think
like
that works nicely.
yeah, it's just like with how the weapons, there are certain strategic. You can like sacrifice having a lot of. You can have small clip in order to have more damage per shot or something.
Yeah,
And with the shields, you can sacrifice having a fast regenerating shield in order to have a really big shield.
mm,
So it'll take a while to go down, but once it's empty, you're vulnerable, or something like that. And I think that's a really good system that makes a lot of sense in Borderlands. So I don't think there's any reason why regenerating health as a concept cannot work.
yeah. I mean,
It's just, yeah.
the new Deadpool game, the new Deadpool game does it quite well.
The new
But
Dim Podango.
but
What?
that's only because it makes sense in canon to who the character is and because obviously he has the
Oh,
same powers as Wolverine in terms of health
you even
regeneration.
mentioned Wolverine. You'd already reminded me of this, and then you flat out mentioned Wolverine. Have you ever played the Wolverine's Revenge game on PS2 and Xbox? And
I played it when I was really young, and it scared the
oh,
shit out of me
yeah, yeah, I know what
because
you're
it was
talking about.
weirdly creepy.
Yeah, yeah. There's a bit early on where you go in and there's like these mutants coming at you.
Yeah,
That's weirdly scary.
and then when I played it when I was older, I found it much harder than when I was younger, which is weird. I don't
I
know
know
why.
exactly what you mean. Like it was something like Maximo is the opposite, where I was just less shit at games by that point. But somehow
Yeah.
there's always that special kind of game from your childhood which you remember owning at, and then you go back and you're like, what, what are
Buttons.
buttons? Where did my third arm that I apparently had go? Uh, um, stuff like that. Well, what's my brain trying to tell me? But I always remember they gave you regenerating health in that, but it was so slow. You just literally had to put the game down and come back five
Yeah.
minutes
Go
later.
for a cup of tea and come back.
Wolverine's Revenge is an acquired taste, but it's just.
I want to go back and play it now we've spoken about it. It's one of those games. I've still got the disc.
Do you have a PS2, sir?
I do, but I have a PS3 with backwards compatibility anyway. So
Oh, do not play Blood Omen 2 on a PS3, okay? Because you
why?
will get to 90% through the game and then a puzzle bugs and you cannot finish it. I looked it up, it's unfinishable.
Oh,
If you still have a PS3, it's just some bug caused by backwards compatibility fuck ups.
that's irritating.
Oh, that was fun, trust me. It's like,
Why? Why would they drop backwards compatibility after releasing it first and then just get rid of it?
so Deus Ex.
Yes.
I actually think I've run out of things apart from what I wanted to end on. So, can I just surmise? This really has been about human revolution
It
mainly.
has, hasn't it? But what
But
the first game is just so good that
I
it
think the
almost
first game
can't.
really speaks for itself. If you want to hear me talk about the first Deus Ex more, why not watch my Let's Play, in which I play until I die? It's a permadeath Let's Play. And also, just recently, I actually did a review of the first Deus Ex. So, pluggity plug, plug, plug. Why don't you go do that? If you enjoyed our banter here, that might be fun for you
You
also.
could also go to www.culturedsoda.com and then watch his review on our site.
Two birds with one plug.
Oh, I'm getting really weird audio glitches now. I think it's because I'm
I'm.
running out of hard drive space.
Oh, right. Well, I wanted to end on us saying what our favorite track from the first Deus Ex was. The
Okay,
music.
I can do this.
This could get heated.
Vandenberg.
Oh, that is a very interesting choice because like 90% of people would say UNATCO or the main theme. With me, it's like UNATCO, Hong Kong, or the main theme.
Oh, all of those are brilliant, but just Vandenberg is the one that stuck with me the most, I think. And
I,
obviously, X Gon Give It To You with the Hong Kong theme is far superior to any hip hop
This
track.
it, I'll give it to you. I don't even know what that original song is, but I just found that hysterical. It just works so perfectly. How do you notice that sort of thing? Um, I'm sure there's got to be someone who has no idea what we're talking about, but
No,
just,
we have to play it at the end.
if only. Um, but I've forgotten. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I once made a list of like my top 10 favorite game menu music tracks. I love when you boot up a game for the first time and the music just goes, "Well, this is gonna be amazing,"
Yeah.
and that's what happened with Deus Ex and Legend of Grimrock and Second Sight actually. Do 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 do. Only one person was listening got
Oblivion.
that. I thought Oblivion had like the blank. Morrowind way more than Oblivion. Morrowind way more than Oblivion. Oblivion just had like the like Fisher Price fantasy set music theme.
Pirates of the Caribbean theme tune, it
Yeah,
sounds
that too.
like.
But anyway, so apparently your hard drive is trying to eat itself at the moment, and I think we've literally hit 2 hours very nearly.
Yeah. Over two
So
hours now.
it is excruciatingly hot in here, and you don't let me use my fan to cool myself because you're selfish. So how do we surmise human revolution? Just no.
That's it. That's
I think if it was the first of its own franchise, it would probably be brilliant, but still flawed. But I
I
think it's a great return to form. Generally, it's better than Invisible War. That's just, well, I mean, I cannot
invisible
have an
what?
opinion. I cannot have an opinion on Invisible War because I played 1 hour and got angry and stopped. But by all accounts, it's better than Invisible Wars.
Um, yeah, no. I think it's the epitome of decent prequels,
It
in
makes
my
it makes me
opinion.
have hope that the new Thief could be good, you know?
I'm worried about it,
I'm
but
worried about it, but
but
eh.
they might be able to pull it off, and especially if they make it as atmospheric as the last ones.
A lean function, please. I don't care how you have to do it. I want to be able to lean. Why do they keep bringing back games for consoles where you have to lean, so they have to take that out? I don't know, man. But let's just sum up now. Yes, this Tryzon. Go watch my crap. Cultured Soda. He does some less interesting crap. He did a weird video about the New Testament or something, which I watched. What the hell was that? What was that, sir? I don't know.
It's the most confusing game I've ever played. Recommended by a friend.
Yep.
It's absurd how weird it is. It's built on a wrestling engine,
Yeah, it
so
wasn't.
like
It looked like that prison game that Nerdcube played. It looked like the same exact game. Oh, holy crap, that was weird though. Yeah, everyone looked like that face you were doing was how the game looked. But if you have enjoyed this ramble, there is also a Bethesda RPG podcast we did.
yeah.
I
Woo.
already plugged my stupid Deus Ex crap, and that's the business.
What can
And
I plug? I can plug.
we did our Killing Floor video together.
Oh yeah, we did do that. We've done quite. We're getting a weird relationship here.
Uh,
It's fun though.
can I throw a bird at you? Will that shut you up?
Yes.
I think he's the stork. They had 3 for 10 quid Beanie Babies, okay? I wasn't gonna
Where was that?
Pool Pottery. I've just given away where I live, but it's Pool Pottery, which sells Beanie Babies.
Time to stalk. I'm
Yes.
going to Google now to find where you live.
Okay. Right. Yes. I think we've more than burned out our welcome.
Indeedy. I'm
I think the moral of the story is Dungeons and Dragons.
obviously.
So let's exit how we started.
Oh god, where did I put them? Oh, here they are. We're okay.
The year is
Ow.
2027. All there is dramatic monologue and exposition. And some crappy people on YouTube, apparently. Pritchard. Pritchard. Something, something that Adam Jensen would say. This is when you come up with the brilliant last line, which will end the podcast.
Paul!
That'll do.